Hello, everybody. Welcome to TRIA Talks. Hello, Lena. I see you've joined. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Ellen. Hi, Brad. Thanks for joining. We're just waiting for Alka to join and a few other people. Hi. Hello, everybody. Hi, Shelby. Hi, Christina. Hope you guys are having a great Monday so far. Just waiting for Alka. Hi, Rachel Johnson, all the way from California. And hello, here comes Alka. Okay, Alka will be joining us.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Alka.
Oh my gosh. Now, is this your home? Because this is gorgeous.
Thank you. No, it's not my home. It's the new set for TRIA Talks, the interview series.
Wow.
And I have a wonderful set designer. So Reverie Event Design does the sets. So I'm very fortunate and blessed to have this beautiful space.
Oh my God. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Wow.
Are you in your home?
I am in my dining room. And
Nice.
Let's see. My dining room is filled with things right now. It looks organized behind me, but it's actually it's got boxes of things like like the perfume that a friend of mine, a perfumer, developed for Lakshmi.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got all of these presents that people give me after I do a book club. You know, they send me these wonderful like homemade cards and paintings and different things like that. So that's really cool. That's really a lot of fun.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I've got my shawl here because in the nighttime when I do book clubs at night, I need, you know, a little bit of extra warmth because it gets kind of cool up here in Northern California.
Yes, and I wanted to ask you about that. How are you doing? You're all safe? You haven't had any like of the fires close to your home or anything?
No, we're really lucky. We have had a lot of ash from the fires, and we've had a lot of days when it's been super unhealthy for us to even be out and about. So, so it, you know, if we weren't locked down before, it sure feels like we're locked down now.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I've been thinking about you. I'm glad that you're safe and you haven't had to leave your home.
Yeah.
It would just add to all the craziness that's going on in the world, wouldn't it?
It really would. Yeah. Yeah. And today we're just getting ready to fill out our ballots. We are so excited
Yes.
that we have a whole new sort of government that might be taking over.
Indeed, it should be interesting. It's been a very interesting time in the U.S. for you all, and of course, what happens there affects all of us. So we're all following quite closely, of course.
You know, Trina, you're not the first one who said that. I was speaking to a group of women in Australia yesterday, and I spoke to a group of women in India the day before. You know, all of these book clubs all around the world. And yes, they are looking to the U.S. And they say that whatever happens in the U.S. affects us.
Absolutely.
So they're looking at this election very closely.
Very closely, for sure. Well, Elka, you know, thank you so much for doing this. You know, this all started with me having the incredible pleasure to enjoy your book while I was at my cottage this summer. And, you know, I posted that photo of me reading on my porch overlooking
I
the
love
lake.
that photo.
Yeah, in Quebec. It's such a beautiful rural spot in Lake Conowagna in Quebec. And yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed the book so much while being there. And then we started a conversation, you and you've been so gracious. Thank you so very much. And then we scheduled this interview right away, like within
Yeah.
days. And
Yeah, because you know, when I saw that photo, I thought that's where I want to be right now in lockdown. You know, I want to be on this beautiful lake, in the forest. I want to be, you know, sitting at that fireplace. I mean, it's everything was just so gorgeous the way that you had it set, and I thought, oh, that looks so peaceful. It looks so serene.
It was. I wish I could go there again, but my daughter's back in school, so you know, we'll see. It's a long drive from our home in Toronto, so maybe we'll get some time there. But you also can't go there in the winter, unfortunately, because it's too hard to get to unless you fly in. So,
Okay.
but we enjoy it when we can, right? Which is so great.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we connected. And once again, I thank you so much. It's really, really terrific that we've had these conversations over the last couple of weeks in promoting our interview. And I love the book so much. It's so vivid. It's inspirational. Your writing is intriguing. It's colorful. I could smell the senses. I could see the beautiful colors. It was all came through so beautifully in the words and how you wrote the words on paper. So let's get in and talk a little bit about the book, if that's all right with you, because you know I have a few questions for you about the book itself. But let's first talk about your journey, because this is a pretty cool thing. You're a New York Times bestselling author, among others. It was in the Globe and Mail bestseller here in Toronto and the Toronto Star, Reese Witherspoon Book Club. You've got a TV project coming starring Freida Pinto. Hello, debut novel. That's pretty cool success. So tell me about it. Did you always know you wanted to write a book? How did you get to this part of the journey?
No, Trina, if you had told me at 30 or 40 or 50 I was going to write a book someday, much less 3, because I've got 2 more coming out.
I know. We'll talk about those.
Yeah, I would have just laughed. I would have thought, oh, no, that's not me, because I am an advertising writer. I'm a marketing writer. I just write brochures. I just write ads. And, you know, I never thought that I would end up writing a book. It's not something that, like, you know, at the age of 8, I said to myself, I'm going to be a writer. But I have always read. I love to read, and I have always read, and I love to disappear in other worlds, in the novels, in the worlds of the novels. I just loved, you know, thinking about the characters and what they were doing, and I could visualize all of it. Whenever I read, I visualized the entire scene. I saw myself in the scene also.
Oh,
so,
yeah. It was all the scenes were so descriptive. It's like, at times I felt I was running the streets with Lakshmi, you know, or, you know, it was just so wonderful and beautifully told, the story. So what was the process like for you to get you, started on this journey, and then through the whole writing and publishing process to where you are now?
You know, it was a stop and start process, because when I initially wrote the book, it was my MFA thesis. And I was really excited because, you know, my mom was still alive, and she and I had been going back and forth to Jaipur, and I'm writing all of these scenes. And then she died shortly thereafter, which was unexpected.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, so that was, you know, it was hard. It was hard to keep writing and going back to the book and polishing it when she was gone, because she is my inspiration for the novel. So, you know, I didn't write for a couple of years. I just went back to working full time. And then I had a mentor who called me and said, hey, you know, what about that book? And I think she was trying to get me out of my funk and just go back to thinking about it again. So then I started thinking about it and writing some more. And then I sent it to her, and she said, okay, you know, let me send it to my agent. And then her agent picked it up right away and said, yes, I'd like to represent you. And I said, oh, great. You know, we're going to get published now, right? And she goes, oh, gosh, no, you have a lot of polishing to do on this book.
Oh,
I see the potential, but it's not there.
right.
And so I just thought, oh my God. So then she worked with me for 4 more years. She kept telling me about things that I needed to change or fix or strengthen or enhance. And so I did that with her. And then I said, now, when are we actually going to get ready to publish? And she goes, oh gosh, now you need a book editor. And I said, isn't that what we've been doing? And she said, no, you need a professional developmental book editor. I didn't even know they were out there. So then I hired one of those, and she went through the whole book, and then she gave me a whole bunch of changes to make. So then I made those changes. Now the basic story all this time stays the same.
Right.
So it's always about Lakshmi's journey. It's always about these women who are trying to find agency within this limited boundary that they have to live in. But what changed were things like a strengthening of a character or lessening of a character's presence in the book, or even making sure that I had more that I had more compelling scenes, that some of the confrontational scenes between Lakshmi and Parvati, between Lakshmi and Samir, between Lakshmi and Radha, that those became more real, more compelling, more like real characters would actually speak, given their intentions in life. And so that kind of thing, I strengthened and worked on. And then I said to my agent, okay, now we're really ready, right? And she said, well, I don't know. And I said, please, let's put it out there. Could we please put it out there? Because I just can't work on it anymore. I've been doing this for 9 years. And that kind of shocked her.
Wow.
Yeah, because, she's a literary agent. So she's been selling other books all these years. She hasn't been keeping track of how long I've been working on it. And so I just begged her. I said, please just send it out. So she did. And then she sold it. And Mira Books, which is a division of HarperCollins, picked it up. And then I got a new editor, and she had me make even more changes. But I just thought, I was so close. It had taken me 10 years to get here. Yeah. And I was gonna listen to everybody along the way who could make that book stronger. Because as my agent said to me once, you only get one shot at a debut novel, right? Yes. It's like the first impression you make with people. You only get that one shot. And if you aren't going to hit it out of the ballpark the first time, hit a home run, you may not get a second contract. So that was
Well, you did it. You definitely knocked it out of the park. That's for sure. So it must have been, like giving birth to a child, and then now you get to celebrate this incredible success, which is just so wonderful. You talk about your mom when you're, her journey. What do you think it would have been like if she had followed in the 1950s Lakshmi's journey?
Okay.
Do you ever give thought to that?
Yes, I have, because I had to sort of imagine her in this place, right? First of all, my mother was not born in a village. She'd always lived in cities her whole life, big cities. She was born in Agra, the land of the Taj Mahal. And so I always envisioned my mother as a sort of queen. You know how when you're little and you think your mom's the most beautiful person in the world, and you love everything she wears and everything she does, and you want to be just like her. So I envisioned her always as this beautiful queen of the palace in Agra. But I think that had my mother followed a path like Lakshmi's, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. True. Yeah. Or maybe I would have, but with a whole different set of siblings and a whole different life situation maybe. Yeah. But I think that my mother, there's just no way possible that my mother could have done what Lakshmi did. I think that it would have meant such a disruption in her life and in her family's life. I think that it would have meant so much of, shame and guilt and humiliation in her life, because in India, you can't just leave your family circumstance so easily. It's not like in the West where you can forge your own path so easily. It's not something that you're taught to do from a young age. And so for my mother, it would have been a crazy, crazy thing for her to be able to, leave like that.
Yeah.
Leave her whole family situation and go off and forge her own path. Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting to learn about the caste systems in India, and you certainly touch on that in your book, and the women that are impacted by that. Do some of those still exist today?
Yes, the caste system has existed for over 5,000 years, and it continues to do that. In India, they don't call it caste so much as they call it community. This is our community, and, this is how the traditions are within our community. So, when I went to India last year, I wanted to answer this question, how much are the young people of today paying attention to caste? What I found is that, the Indian middle class has grown so much that the middle class in India now can send their kids off to colleges more than they ever could before. They can afford that. So all of these people are going to college, and they are meeting people of all different communities, all different religions, all different classes. And they're falling in love. They're having a chance to explore different relationships. So, they will come back to their families and to their homes and say, well, I think I kind of like this other person that I've met, and I really want to be with them. And sometimes that's okay, and other times it's not.
Right.
Because 70 to 80% of Indian marriages are still arranged by the families.
Wow.
And when they're arranged by the families, I said, so are your parents going to look outside your caste? Even though it makes no difference to you whom you marry and whether you marry outside your caste, what about your parents when they select a partner for you? And they said, well, yeah, our parents will only look within our communities. So you see how it kind of perpetuates itself is in from the older generations. It still keeps going and going and going. And I kind of understand why, because, if your parents, know that you're not just marrying a person, you're marrying an entire family behind them, right?
Yes.
So those families now are going to be wedded forever together. Those families now have to come together for the same festivals and the same traditions. So they have to understand what those traditions are. They have to come together in language. So they have to understand each other's dialects. So I understand why there is this pressure to only look within your community, because it is what both families will be most comfortable with.
Right. And then the respect is there as well, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the family dynamic, which we don't always have here in Western.
Exactly. Trina, I am so surprised when I go to India now. I think in India, I'm considered very aged because, I'm 62 and I have all this gray hair. And when I go to India, I am treated as a respected elder. And that is not the case here in the United States. That is not the kind of thing that we get here in the United States. The older we get, the more disposable we become in the United States. But in the East,
especially as women, unfortunately.
Yeah. But in the Eastern cultures, people pay you a lot of respect. They listen to what you have to say. They ask you questions. They ask you for your advice. It's so different. And, in that sense, I really love going back to the East and, getting that kind of treatment. It makes me feel really like I have something valuable to say.
Yeah, well, and you do. Absolutely. So keep putting your voice forward. And this is just part of it in writing this book. Let's talk about the art of henna. I've had henna done once, and I absolutely just thought it was such a beautiful, not just the end result, but the art of the henna as well. So tell us about the significance and what it symbolizes. And obviously, it's the title of the book, so it has such significance to the storyline. Can you just shed a little bit of light on that?
Yeah.
Every
little girl in India understands henna, because every little girl in India has always seen her mother, her aunties, her friends with henna on their hands, especially because she's probably been going to weddings and she's been attending all these big festivals like Diwali. And that's when women get their hands done. And I remember as a little girl, I wanted to get my hands done every time my mother had her hands done. So Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. It's also a very caring and loving sort of act to have done on your hands and then to walk around with it. And, the henna plant is so good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It conditions everything. It also cools and calms you. And that's one of the main reasons I think that they've been applying it for young brides forever, because it calms the bride and it makes her feel loved and protected for that very first night that she's going to spend with her husband.
And there are a lot of other like natural remedies that, that come up throughout the book as well. And in this current pandemic situation we're living in, what do you think about the mixing of, the natural with, the traditional medicine that's out there?
Oh, it's one of the things that I found so fascinating about India. Whenever I go back, Indians are always using a lot of natural remedies.
The holistic.
For example, for indigestion, you just put some buttermilk with a little bit of black pepper, and you guzzle that down, and then of course some water so that it's more watery, and then you guzzle that down and it helps you with indigestion. If you, just like my dad, he has some joint issues, joint pain and everything.
Yeah.
And so every night he drinks warm milk with some turmeric and honey. And turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. Every spice that we use for Indian cooking has some kind of beneficial property for your body.
I think I'm going to have to get some recipes from you. You'll have to maybe, that can be another book.
Yeah. Trina, I was kind of surprised when we first came to America, and the only spices in the 1960s that people used to use were salt and pepper, and pepper. And we were so used to using all of these different things, cumin and cardamom and cinnamon and, so coriander and all of these different spices. And we just thought American food is so bland. Why do they eat such bland food? So,
we just overkill it with salt. And then take away all the flavor, right? All the natural flavors. It's too bad.
Right.
Alka, there are so many proverbs sprinkled throughout the book.
Oh yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
So many great ones. A lot of them kind of probably harder for us, Westerners to understand. But one of my favorites, I just want to read it, and they all gave us like a reason to pause and think for sure. But this one we featured last Thursday as our TRIA thought. And we've been doing that all throughout the month of September. But this one, when the goddess of wealth comes to give you her blessing, you shouldn't leave the room to wash your face.
Yes.
Explain this to us and what it meant in particular to Lakshmi. And what does this mean to you?
When opportunity knocks, open the door. And so Lakshmi does this time and again. When there's an opportunity, like for example, she wants an introduction to the palace. She knows that Parvati can help her get that introduction. And when Parvati fails to get her the introduction, she knows that Samir can help her get that introduction. Right. So, these are opportunities that are present in front of her. And I think they're present in front of all of us. We just have to recognize them for what they are. And then we have to go after them. We have to be persistent, but politely persistent about going out and getting those, just like Lakshmi was. And then she finally gets her introduction to the palace, and she gets an opportunity to help the younger Maharani, and she succeeds. And that helps grow her business exponentially.
So I just love her so much. She just has such determination. And I think that if we leave this interview today with anything else, is that, when opportunity, when the door of opportunity knocks, open it and walk right through. And to see the steps along the way, I think that's so powerful that don't just look for the big one, right? Acknowledge all the little steps of opportunities that get you to the big, right? The big picture.
Exactly. And for example, if I hadn't looked for those opportunities, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. Right. So the way that I chose my MFA program in particular because they had working authors, published authors within the last 5 years. And I knew that if I could study with them, and if they liked my manuscript, they could help me get that manuscript into the hands of a working agent today. Now, this is super important. I also chose a program, and I chose to study with people who were writing fiction, because I write fiction. That is what I write. I do not, I don't write poetry, and I don't write nonfiction. So this is what I do. And I wanted to study in particular with all of those kinds of people. The other kind of opportunity was that when my agent and my editors gave me feedback, I listened to it. That is opportunity also. That is opportunity.
Absolutely.
Telling you that there are people with way more experience than you, decades of experience in publishing books. They know what's going to appeal to a reader. They know how things are going to appeal to a reader. They know how somebody's going to pick something up off the shelf. That is opportunity knocking, and you need to pay attention to it. And that goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, will never lead you astray.
I absolutely love the goddess of wealth. Absolutely. So, at TRIA, it's very important for us, and for me in particular, to find sanctuaries for us to write in our journal, or, we're a branding and marketing and communications agency. So we love to obviously find our creativity in multiple venues, right, around the city. Where's your writing space? I asked this because a few years ago, I produced fundraising events for the Writers' Trust of Canada. And one year we came up with the idea of library visit. And we enlisted the help of the lovely Margaret Atwood and asked her if she would write a letter to all of her author friends and ask them if they would open up their library for an auction. She laughed so hard and said, "It will never be done. Authors no way will they participate." And we convinced her, and then she wrote the most incredibly funny, witty letter to her author friends, and basically said, you don't have to attend the event, you don't have to eat another rubber chicken dinner. Like, she actually put this in the letter, and we got an incredible overflow of authors that wanted to participate in this event. We raised, almost $500,000 net profit for the Writers' Trust of Canada. It was super fun, and all people had to bid on was going to visit an author in their library. Now, we told them a library like Salman Rushdie, I think he took the people that won to the park in New York City. P.D. James took people to a beautiful afternoon tea in London. But some people just kept it very, not in their home, but a library can be anywhere, right? It's within you. What is it for you? Where do you like to write? And do you have a sanctuary or a favorite spot?
I write in bed. So I love to have, I like to have my pillows propped up behind me on the headboard, and I have my tea next to me, and I have this little laptop table that I put up, and I put my computer on it, and I write. So I have windows in my bedroom that look out onto greenery. So I love to, when I'm thinking about, where I'm going next, or I'm thinking about a piece of dialogue, or I'm imagining in my head the whole scene and where everybody is in the scene, I can just look out the window, and it is so calming to be able to look out onto this beautiful, onto the trees and the ocean beyond and so on. So that is my sanctuary. I love to be in the bedroom. Now, I do not have any music on. I don't have any noises on. I prefer to be in total quiet.
Amazing.
And so, every now and then my dog will come in. We have 2 dogs, and one of them is tall enough to be able to jump on the side of the bed and say, "Hey, how are you doing, Mom? What's going on?"
I need attention over here.
I need attention, right? And I'll rub her head, and then she goes away again. So
right.
So that kind of thing is perfectly okay. But I like to be very focused and quiet, and I have the ability to be very focused. you know, my husband, I think, is always surprised at how laser focused I can be. I mean, the house could be burning down and I'm not even aware of what's going on. That's how focused I am when I'm writing.
So you get taken away to a whole different world. You live in the world that you're writing about.
Exactly. That is exactly where I'm living. I am living in that world. I am with those characters. I'm feeling their pain. I'm feeling their joy. I am really, and you know what? It's the exact same experience I used to have when I read novels also. It's the same experience.
Right.
I am in their worlds.
Right. Now, we only have a few minutes left. Are you okay to go over the 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. I'm enjoying this conversation so much. Thank you. So let's talk about the sequels. Can we talk about them really quickly, and the TV project? What can you kind of give us at this point, a little snapshot to intrigue us?
Well, you remember, Trina, I told you that the story for the Henna Artist actually, you know, was done by the time I had the MFA program accomplished. So it took me just a year and a half to actually write the story. But then it took me all of the other time to figure out how you maintain tension throughout a novel, how you develop characters so that they feel real, and so on. So the idea for the sequel came to me last year because Malik, one of the main characters of the Henna Artist, kept knocking at my temples saying, okay, time for me, time for my story. And so I turned my attention to him, and the story came very easily. And I had written, you know, 30, 40 pages or something like that. And my agent said, let's send them off to the publisher. Well, the publisher bought it right away. And so last December, they had already bought the sequel even before the Henna Artist had come out in March of this year. So I've been working on the sequel, and we are just polishing off the final edits. It will be published next July. It will be one of Mira Books's, you know, their big summer read for next year. Yeah.
Wonderful. See, I can take that one to the cottage with me next summer.
And then I even have another one that is going to focus on Radha, one of the other main characters, right? The little sister.
The little sister, yes.
Yeah. So that is going to come. I'm going to start working on that as soon as I put this sequel to bed. And then, of course, there is the Miramax TV series that we're working on. And Freida Pinto is going to star as Lakshmi. Yeah. And I
think she's a perfect choice.
Isn't she? She's so beautiful, and she's so thoughtful. And I think she is Lakshmi because she's very centered. You know, she's very calm and she's very centered. And that's how Lakshmi is too. So yeah, I think she's going to be a great Lakshmi. It's going to be really fun. Now, in addition to that, I'm being asked to tell people or to teach people about writing and publishing and marketing. And, you know, it's kind of easy for me to do that because I have been in marketing for so long, just like you.
Yes.
And it's kind of second nature to me. So, so I'm doing that for Kepler's Foundation, and that starts on October 20th. So there's a lot going on right now.
You are busy. When will the TV series come out?
You know, it all depends on COVID.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. The filming right now.
The majority of it is going to be filmed in Jaipur, of course.
Oh,
and
wow.
And so right now in India, as you can imagine, because of the pandemic, nobody can go in or out. So we are just holding fast. And first, the whole series, all the episodes have to be written, and then they have to be, you know, cast. And there's, you know, some other major financing that has to happen, and distributors have to be found, like a Netflix or HBO or whatever. And then finally, we will get to the point where we can start shooting. They were hoping for spring of 2022.
Okay.
So, which is pretty accelerated.
Yes.
But, you know, let's hope that everything will be copacetic by then.
Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
Absolutely. So, can we play a little game of this or that?
Sure.
All right, great. So I'll ask you about 10 questions, and you give me the answer. We may expand if we have a little time. Okay, you ready? Pen or pencil?
Oh, pen.
Writing poetry or reading poetry? I think I know the answer because you already said it.
Reading.
Yes. You said you don't write poetry. Okay, hard copy book or tablet?
Oh, hard copy.
Me too. Big party or small gathering in a non-COVID world?
Small gatherings. Every single time, small gathering. This is why I love the virtual book clubs right now, because they're usually a small gathering of people, and I can talk to each single person. When I'm in a big party, I get really lost and I just want to leave. Like within 5 minutes, I want to leave.
Right. I like the small gatherings too. There's certainly more intimate conversation that goes on. Yep. Okay, new clothes or new phone?
Oh, new clothes. I love clothes.
Me too. Who doesn't? I have never been to India. That's on my bucket list. So when I go there, I will definitely be buying some of the beautiful fabrics for sure.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, yeah. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Do you have a tea that you really like?
Well, you know, I drink a chai that is made from loose leaf black tea. And then I have my cardamom and my cloves and the cinnamon that I put in it. You know, I have tried all of these different pre-made chai teas, and they're just not the same. They do not taste fresh the way that actual chai does when you make it fresh. And when you go to a chai wala in India, they make it fresh every day. Starbucks chai has nothing on the real chai.
I can't even imagine. I actually don't enjoy chai, and it's probably for that reason, because I'm just drinking a Starbucks chai. Sorry, Starbucks, but. Okay, comedy or drama?
Comedy. I like comedy.
Have you watched anything during these times of COVID that you could recommend? Something funny you've watched?
You know, okay, so now that you're saying that, maybe I will switch to drama, because I think I've seen both that are pretty good. The last thing I binge watched was that Indian matchmaking show on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of a fun reality show. You know, it's half true and half not true, but it was fun to watch. Another thing was on Amazon. It was called Made in Heaven. It was a wonderful series about two wedding planners in Delhi. And it was really, really fabulous. It was beautifully written and beautifully acted. So I love that.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. And then, of course, I like Mindy Kaling. So I like, almost anything that she produces is fun, and it's funny, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good TV, that's for sure, as of recent years. Absolutely. Okay, so time travel or space travel?
Time travel. Time travel. Yeah.
Would you travel back in time?
Yeah. Yeah. I would travel back. One thing I really love is the way that people used to get dressed up for dinner, the way that people used to dress up for, any time that you went anywhere. It wasn't just jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that whole era.
Have you watched the show Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Oh, isn't that a beautiful show
Like the clothing in that, the fashion, come on.
Oh, I know. It's so
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
It has everything. It has the fashion. It's so funny. It's just perfect. Okay, so meet your favorite author or meet your favorite character?
I think meet my favorite author. You mentioned Margaret Atwood a little while ago, and I used to read Margaret Atwood's early work, like from 30, 20 years ago.
Yes.
I actually have not read The Handmaid's Tale or any of the work that, she has done in the last couple of years. But those early novels, I loved her early novels. And she is so funny. Not in the writing, but she is so funny when I've seen her interviewed and taken her master class that I would love to meet her. Yes. I think she is a phenomenal writer. I love her. She's
an amazing woman. It's an honor that I got to meet her many years ago, and I love her books, and her new sci-fi ones like Orcs and Crate, loved it, couldn't put it down. Well, I would say that meeting you is definitely right up there with that as well, Elka. Like, this has been such an absolute pleasure and honor to just sit and chat with you like this today. And we've had a lot of viewers on and making comments. And so if there are any questions, I'll just tell people to post them, and, you know, maybe we can work together and post some of those questions on stories and things like that, maybe after the interview now, because we're kind of need to wrap up, unfortunately, before, you know, Instagram cuts us off.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and your viewers. And
my pleasure.
Thank you for loving the book and promoting it. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Will you join us again and talk about the other book sometime? I would love that for sure. Let's keep in touch. It's been such a pleasure, and I just want to thank everybody that has read the book along with us, and I want to thank this One King West Hotel here in Toronto for giving us this beautiful set today, and Reverie Event Design and Epic Vision, all the people, G Beauty for always doing fabulous makeup for me. So a lot of people that come together to make TRIA Talks happen. And Alka, you are amazing. I hope we keep in touch. I love, love, love your book so much.
Thank you.
And if anyone's watching and you haven't read it, please pick it up. You'll love it. It's right here. Go get it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alka. Please stay safe. Okay, and all the best to you.
All right, and next time we will be in your hotel, in that space.
Let's do it. Okay, that's a date. We're going to do that. The next time we're going to do a live interview together, and we're going to sip tea and then go for wine later.
That's right. All right. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.